One love.
Sony was weird today, Wes. I was telling Roots, fucking Sony. By 3:30.
We're live.
Hello there, friends, and welcome to Strangers in the Night, your late night source for VR talk. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots and my good friend Eric. Gentlemen, how are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing good. Eric just started talking, and I was like, "Oh,
No idea we started the countdown. I love being like badass at this shit. Just ass backwards bad at this stuff, man. It's
Hey.
the best. I have no idea we started our countdown. I'm rambling on talking about shit that we don't even need to talk about. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. I muted you for until we got in. I do see Vegas behind you there, though. The little sliver through that window.
There you go. There's a strip.
There you have it.
That's
Vegas,
awesome.
baby.
There's authenticity right there on the site of VR Central on this day and this year at this time. Excitement, Eric, as Jim Ryan takes the stage. We had an idea, right, that maybe we might get a glimpse of PSVR 2. Rest in peace, PS5 VR, by the way. PSVR 2 tonight, but we didn't know until we saw Ryan take the stage, and we know that guy don't just show up to give us stats and numbers, right?
Yeah, I think everybody was shocked that Jim Ryan was there. None of the media were talking about Jim Ryan being there today. The only thing the media were really talking about was Sony today was talking about they had heard some rumors about this new car program that Sony was putting together, which was fairly big. Nobody was saying anything about any kind of VR or AR. The only hint I got was about 2 hours before the press conference. They put out an update to their schedule, and I sent it to Wes. They had actually linked in there AR, VR, XR topics, and then I freaked out and called Wes and said we might want to think about going live tonight because who knows what the hell they're going to talk about.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Eric and I talked about it a little bit last night, and he said, "Do you think that they might unveil it here?" And my initial reaction was no. They're going to make us wait a little bit longer. But then we started thinking about it and talking it through, and we knew that they were supposed to talk about PlayStation VR in December. They decided to delay it, and then you think, well, till when? Well, CES kind of makes sense. This is what this event is for. It's for all of the biggest tech players in the world to convene on one event during 1 week out of the year and show their cards for the next year. And so then you start to think, well, is there a precedent? Have Sony done anything with VR before at CES? So 15 minutes later in the Google machine, and we were looking at news story after news story after news story about how really the first real hands-on the media got with the original PlayStation VR was at CES in 2016, some 10 months before the thing launched. So then, our outlook started to become a little bit more optimistic with regards to the possibilities. So, it was a guarded optimism, but when Jim Ryan came out and he started talking about embracing new technology, I just started saying it's VR. He's about to start talking about VR. He's going to talk about VR. And my kids, they heard me get excited from in the next room. They all came in and started kind of like crowding around. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, it's PSVR 2. It's a great day, guys. It's a great day. I can't begin to express how excited I am for what 2022 holds in store for all of us, not just with PlayStation VR 2, but VR in general.
Yeah, it's crazy. Who would have thought, right? I guess you kind of figured it out, right? That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so as Ryan starts to pivot off and talk about VR and then reveal some of the specs, what was the attitude in the room? Because obviously us being inside the bubble, most of what he said in terms of specs, Eric, not a big surprise, but it may have been to people there. What was the attitude with the people around you there?
Yeah, I mean, I'll paint you a quick picture. So, what they did today was Mandalay Bay did all the press conferences today. Mandalay Bay has this huge conference center, okay, but it's that is dwarfed by the size of the Las Vegas Convention Center. So every other company, and I'm talking, all the big ones, Qualcomm, Hyundai, John Deere, all these huge companies did everything at Mandalay Bay. There was only one press conference that was held not at Mandalay Bay. It was held at the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is where the show floor will be. But that's not open yet. That doesn't open until tomorrow. They're actually still building all of these booths, but they bust all the media all the way over there for one press conference, and that was Sony. And that's because the freaking thing was huge, man. I'm saying there was so many people there. There was like a parade of buses from Mandalay Bay going to the convention center where Sony was, and people were racing there to get in to get seats because otherwise you were going to be standing room only. Because it was that full in the back. So it was completely crazy. Everybody was hyped up for this, and nobody was talking about VR though. Everybody was talking about the car stuff, and there was hints of possibly some, movie stuff that they did talk about a little bit, but nobody knew anything. And when they came out, when Jim Ryan came out in the first place, the whole mood changed. Everybody like moved up in their seats, and a lot of these press people that are there, especially before the show opens, are like older press people. Like a lot of them were just like even older than me, and I'm an old man. And like so, I was like, yeah, they're not gonna have any interest in VR, and they're not gonna want to hear anything. And they were all, I mean, you all you heard was click, 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 click when Jim Ryan came out because it was a million cameras going off. And then everybody was like on every word he said. And then the room when he said the name and he gave out the name, like freaked out. I mean, everybody was scrambling, trying to take notes, and people were taking pictures. People were in their seats trying to move up to the stage to get better shots. They had this huge boom arm camera that swung over the audience. It was like nothing I've ever seen before, and the mention of VR completely freaked everybody out, including me. I was texting with Wes as I was doing it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? I'm like, is he gonna show it? Because I was like, are they gonna show the picture of it? They showed the controllers again, and I'm like, they're gonna show the picture of it, and they did.
So you don't think they're going to
No,
let you
well,
play it? You're going to see it this weekend, maybe?
I'll be playing it. I'll be playing it tomorrow.
Yeah, but do you think it'll be there? You said that in 2016, that was the first time the press got their hands on it, right? And you also today, when you this whole thing happened, was before anything was set up. Do you think it'll be there? Is my question.
I think it's a possibility. I didn't think they were going to talk about anything VR. I mean, me and Wes were talking about an outside chance, and then we kind of like got a little bit better idea. But we weren't really. I wasn't really thinking anything until a couple of days ago that we would hear anything. So it's possible that they might hold showing the actual thing until everybody can be there. Because again, it's only press today. It was only press yesterday and only press today. So you just still, even though there's a lot of people here, you have a limited number of compared to what's going to be here tomorrow. And tomorrow, all the content creators will be here.
Crazy.
yeah, I'd be shocked, but I do consider it to be a possibility. With 2016, they had already revealed PlayStation VR a few months earlier at a PlayStation experience in late 2015. And then the CES was kind of the hands-on session after that. But anything's possible with Sony these days. Under their new leadership, they've certainly taken a different stance with regards to promotion, not just of VR, but of PlayStation in general. But today, Eric saw it firsthand. A lot of people question, Sony's new approach to marketing, which is a lot of silence, and then when they do say something, it has profound impact. And Roots, I mean, you could see it everywhere across our bubble. Eric saw it across the audience there. Sony, after a year, it's been almost a year since they revealed those controllers, and they haven't said anything about VR since then. Nothing at all. But you could see the impact of it after a year of silence. at CES when Jim Ryan takes the stage, and pretty much, I mean, he spoke about a couple of other things in passing, but he was there to unveil PlayStation VR 2. And the fact that he is the one doing it in an event like this, it's impactful. It shows everyone that Sony isn't just serious about VR, but that VR is central to Sony's vision, not generations down the road, but right now. It really is a big deal. I feel like that he was there personally just to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but Onakazi says it's minimal news. We didn't find out that much. I would argue that just the fact that it's now been acknowledged, the name's been solidified, there it's been announced for real this time, right? Like you said, they showed the controllers and then just kind of faded. So now we've kind of got a time frame, like you said, probably 10 months. Get to right before the holidays, and we should be able to see it, right?
Here's what's not
Yeah.
minimal news, though. It's the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere and what blew up today because, again, nobody was talking about VR at all going into this press conference. But when Jim Ryan took the stage, he got a better reception or a crazier reception than Tom Holland did. And you know what I mean? And it was just it was intenseful. It was super intense when he came out. Everybody was on the edge of their seats. And guess what? Sony took a huge portion of their press conference at the largest electronics show in the world to focus on virtual reality. That in itself is news.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot could be made out of the fact that they're not showing the form factor just yet, because it is a bit of a minefield for them to try to navigate with the traditional gamers, many of which have kind of this bad taste in their mouth with regards to VR. They feel like they're being forced into another platform when all they want to do is kind of status quo going forward. So I think, and this is just speculation on my part, I think the way that we receive the next event, the one that reveals the form factor, the one that gives us a bit more information about the release window, that could come a number of ways. It could come at a big live event like this one, or it could come, in a state of play or a blog post. I think that this is kind of the trial balloon for Sony. I think that they were calculated in what they revealed here today. But again, with the presence of Jim Ryan on this big stage, I think that they want to see how people react to this. I think that they're coming out on, not the biggest gamer centric stage in the world. This is a tech stage, not a gamer stage. With their big guns, Jim Ryan out there unveiling, you know, their next generation of VR and their vision for the platform going forward. And I think how this bit of news is received over the next week, 2 weeks, a month will determine the nature of the next reveal. So, like, if people run with this and there's a huge amount of excitement, something on par with what we have for Quest 2 right now, then I think that maybe early summertime there could be a PlayStation event that is live and really makes a big deal out of it. If a lot of people are complaining and nobody cares about VR and that whole deal we've heard for the last 6 years, maybe we see something different. I think they're also going to measure the metrics outside of the gaming bubble, right? Because kind of what we've seen with Quest is that you don't have to necessarily just win over gamers to be a success in the VR space. You can reach outside of that bubble and reach the greater tech enthusiast marketplace. So I very much feel like this is a bit of a first shot, if you will, and how this is received by the greater tech media and on a smaller level the gaming community. I think is going to determine their course over the next 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, and I can tell you, you got to remember that we all live in a very small circle of virtual reality. So I know that what the specs of the new PlayStation are because it was leaked by Brian Paul and PSVR without parole because they got it from some of their sources. But that's never been confirmed by Sony. And guess what? 95% of the people that were in this room, the media, had no idea. They'd never seen the Orb controllers, probably. They never heard the specs. Most of them don't know anything about VR. For them to be excited and to see something and go, holy crap, you had this entire media audience on the edge of their seats because they have no clue what's going on. So maybe this is not the biggest announcement for us because we've got a lot, we're very close to this. But for the media in general, this is huge news. And for them to push it at a conference where it's not a it's not a gaming conference. This is a tech conference where you will have gaming tech here, but it's not focused on, this is not, EG, or it's not the G, I'm trying to think what's
E3,
the game developers
E3.
conference. It's not
Oh,
GDC or anything like
GDC,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not that. You know what I mean? This is a tech conference that just happens to have AR, VR, and XR. Um, so yeah, just the environment that we're in right now. Pull ourselves out of this bubble. This is not big news for us, but it's big news for everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gaming science teacher in the chat says, was anything said about wireless, not standalone, just the wireless connection to the PS5? No, this is going to be a wired headset, and we're going to get in a minute. We're going to get into everything that was confirmed by Jim Ryan and Sony today, and we'll talk about wireless and more. Gamertag VR says most YouTubers are failed gaming channels who then succeeded with VR and stuck to it. Not me and some others. VR, and more specifically PSVR, is the reason we started this. So this is electric news to me. Exactly. I agree with every word of what you just said there. As many of you know, PSVR is what started me in this, and I've always kind of considered myself a PSVR guy. So this is a big day for me. Like this, I could almost cry when I saw the logo pop up on the screen there. If I was where Eric was sitting, I might have. You know what I mean? Super excited.
I'd give anything to have you guys here, to have you and Roots and even gamer tag the guys I know that are just like passionate about PSVR. I mean, it was a special moment for me, and I just got my first PlayStation experience 6 months ago, so I couldn't imagine what you guys would probably freak out, man. That's all I wish for next year is that all my friends and the gaming industry can be here with me.
I'm down. I'll be there. Confirmed.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
No, man. I'll be there next year as we sit waiting for the release date for PlayStation VR 2. No, I say that in jest, but seriously, guys, a lot of people were speculating for a springtime reveal, like what we got today, coming in February or March. I think it might be a while now. We talked a moment ago about Sony's marketing strategy, not only for VR, but they did the same thing with PlayStation 5. They didn't say much, they didn't show much, but when they did, it was impactful. And I think that, we could see something else in spring, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was days of play, summertime, before we got the full reveal. And then at that point, we're 3-4 months out from a launch. We get the launch date, we get the price, maybe even pre-orders go up. But you just mentioned GDC, Eric. That's in springtime. So maybe they'll show a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of it then.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing. Because we were allowed into the Las Vegas Convention Center where the show is going to be opening tomorrow. I got to see Sony's booth. It's split into three sections. You have the main stage that everybody saw in the video. To the left, you have another stage where you'll see their automotive. To the right was a complete PlayStation 5 area that was separate from everything else that has a whole bunch of things on display. So they're going to show something PlayStation 5. I don't know what it's going to be, but they didn't make this whole area for nothing. So something will be
Wouldn't
over
that
there.
be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome if it was
Yeah.
actually there, right? Even if
Yeah.
it was the dev kit, like even if they just had a dev kit set up for people to experience it. I don't think they'd do anything like that, but again, they're doing new things with this new group of executives at Sony. Their marketing approach is much different than it used to be.
Daniel Cass says he'll get either a PSVR 2 or a Cambria, not both. Looking forward to seeing which one offers a better value. Well, I think you're gonna have one that's gonna have AAA title after AAA title that's funded by Sony, and then you're gonna have the Cambria, which will probably have a couple of high end games. I mean, who knows? But to me, it's a no brainer. The Cambria, what? Like, no.
Yeah, the Cambria, it's not going to be its own platform. Like, it'll play games, but it's going to play Quest 2 games. It's going to be the same games. So yeah, I mean, Cambria is going to be nice, and I'm not saying that I won't get one of them when it comes out. I might, but it's not its own platform. It's not Quest 3, and it's not going to have exclusive games for it. So
right, and it's not going to have the exclusive games we want, like maybe GTA 5. Who knows? Sony's proven to me, especially with this whole reveal and the way they're doing it, they're coming with the big guns. They're going to come with some big titles, and we're going to be blown away. One of them being the Horizon game, right, that they announced today.
That was another thing, man. People were freaking out looking at this video, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, Mark Coldwell in the chat says, any early guesstimates on pricing? Well, we've seen with the success of Quest 2 that pricing is kind of a big deal, and if they want to compete, I don't think that they're going to be able to make this thing like super expensive. I think that the roof for pricing on it will be $500. I don't think that they can charge more for the headset than they did for their console. But I don't know. There's really no indication. That's all speculation. The closer that they could get it to, I think the safe guess would be 450. I think the roof is 500 on it.
Take my money. 500, 400. I don't care. The DualSense controllers, I guess they're not called DualSense in the they're called just what, Sense controllers?
Yeah, they're the
PSVR Sense controllers. PSVR 2
right.
Sense controllers,
yeah. It makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they want everybody to
ugly.
associate. The other controllers are so amazing, right? They want everybody to know that tech is in there. That's the same tech, the same adaptive triggers, same everything, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a smart move. Now,
Anyway,
they did say. I was going to say. I mean, you're about to go into specs, I assume. So once you start to, I'm not going to say anything because I'll let you do it. But once they start talking about specs, I know I've heard like Brian Paul and AJ from PSVR Without Parole. They're hoping it's going to be the same price as the Quest at $399.
I mean, that would be
the 256
incredible.
Quest. I just don't see. I mean, the one spec that I heard will say right now, they said eye tracking. Jim Ryan said eye tracking.
Yeah.
So the headset with the specs that you're about to spout out for $399, Sony will not take a loss on a headset like Facebook does. I'm telling you, they are not about losing money on hardware.
There is
no
a
way it's going to
precedent.
be under $500.
There is a precedent. They have taken loss on consoles before. Like they famously lost tons of money on PlayStation 3 just so that they could remain competitive with Xbox during that generation. So it depends on how dedicated they are to really building VR this generation, as opposed to setting the foundation for the next generation. But I wouldn't be like shocked if they ate $50 to $100 per unit on this. Like again, they've done it before.
I hope so. If they could make it like the same price as the. I mean, what's the PlayStation 5 go for? Is it
$399,
It's
$499?
Yeah,
I mean,
400 and 500 for the different versions.
To me, I think if you keep this at $500 or under, I think you're in good shape.
Yeah,
Anything
I
over
agree.
5, you get in trouble because then you've got to have 500 for the headset, another 4 to 5 for the PlayStation 5 if you don't have one already. It's $1,000. I mean, that's a high end for somebody to take out of their pocket. So, God, I hope so, man. This is going to be huge. If they can get that, if they could ever get it at $400, I would do jumping jacks. That'd be awesome.
So let's dive a little bit into the specs. After that, I want to get into a little bit of this this tech report that people were reporting on yesterday from China, and this third-party manufacturer that is apparently going to be manufacturing these headsets. Because there were a few points I felt like in that report that kind of got glossed over by the larger media that are interesting, pertinent to the conversation. But first, let's look at what Sony revealed today in terms of specs. This coming directly from the PlayStation blog post that was posted immediately after Ryan took the stage. Let's see here. PlayStation VR 2 and the Sense controller, next generation of VR gaming on PS5. Well, come on now. Apologize while I get this thing pulled up. All right, here we are. So, you know, the big bullet points that Ryan hit on when he was on the stage was visual fidelity. And I think that you can't oversell this as kind of the main feature of this headset. PSVR 2 offers 4K HDR, 110-degree field of view, and foveated rendering with an OLED display. So again, this is 2000 by 2040 per eye. They're claiming frame rates of either 90 or 120, just like the original PlayStation VR. But where this is going to be groundbreaking, not only is it super high resolution, not only is it going to have a wider field of view, about 20 degrees wider than your Quest 2, for those of you out there that are gaming on that. But what really is going to make this thing next level is the fact that this is an HDR OLED panel. We haven't seen this in VR yet. And, you know, coming from someone who owns multiple HDR panels in their house, and these are just, my HDR panels are LCD panels. I mean, the OLED is going to be nuts. It's going to offer colors and contrast, the likes of which have not been seen in VR today. This, I think, is one of the biggest pluses to the early stat sheet that we got today.
Yeah, it's everything we wanted, right? We wanted OLED, bro. We got it. We did it.
We did it!
It feels so good. It feels very good.
Yeah, Samsung HDR. Well, we assume that it's going to be Samsung. We don't know that yet. But HDR OLED displays, definitely a big deal. Headset-based controller tracking. Obviously, we already knew that this was going to be inside-out tracked. We now know it's tracked by 4 cameras on the headset that will be performing controller tracking as well as headset tracking. In addition, you have your usual, set of gyroscopes and accelerometers that are going to be built in. It's basic inside-out tracking for this. What isn't so basic is the 2 infrared cameras on the inside of the headset, which are going to track each of your eyes individually. And they did confirm that that isn't only going to be used for social interaction and in-game interaction, but it is going to be used for foveated rendering as well, which kind of, I mean, that makes sense, right? The whole concept upon which console gaming is built is optimization, getting the most out of your hardware. And obviously, when you're talking about next gen VR, dynamic foveated rendering is going to be a big part of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say PSVR Underground throws a $5 spot, says hype train, choo choo. Oh yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, AJ. Those guys have been on the in the front car of the hype train for a while on this one. So I'm so happy for those guys over there that finally we start to we get into the year of PSVR, and I do think this is going to be the year of PSVR.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me and Wes were even talking about it. I'm like, oh man, oh my god, if they announce something today, how great of a day is it for for Brian and AJ, and for all of us, but still, especially for those guys who have put their time in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
New sensory features. PSVR Sense technology combines eye tracking, headset feedback, 3D audio, and the innovative new PSVR 2 Sense controller to create an incredibly deep feeling sense of immersion. Headset feedback, a new sensory feature that amplifies the sensations of in-game actions from the player. It's created by a single built-in motor with vibrations that add an intelligent tactile element, bringing players closer to the gameplay experience. For example, gamers can feel a character's elevated pulse during tense
Oh
moments,
wow.
the rush of objects passing close to the character's head, or the thrust of a vehicle as the character speeds forward. Additionally, PS5's Tempest 3D audio tech makes sounds in the player's surroundings come alive, adding to this new level of immersion. So, a lot to unpack with that one. First of all, there's been a lot of speculation whether or not that rumble motor in the headset. One, is it just there as a means to mitigate motion sickness, or will it be used to enhance immersion? Well, here we got our answer. Not only is it going to be used to enhance immersion, but they describe it as intelligent tactile element, which means that it's not just going to be a basic rumble, right? The way that they use it is going to be very creative and an important building block in building this new immersive experience for the next gen gamer.
That sounds amazing. Gamertag says this headset sounds expensive, and I mean, all that tech is high tech, right? So then we get back to that conversation of what the cost is going to be, and everybody's wanting it to be $399, and it's sounding like that's like fading. I'm watching it float out the window. You know what I mean? I don't know. Hopefully it'll be reasonable, but I don't think it'll be too expensive. So I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I think $399 is the floor on it. I think $5 or $499 is the ceiling on it. I think it'll be in that price range, and I'm happy. As long as they don't get up into like the $600 and $700 range, I'll be
What did
cool
the
with it.
original PlayStation VR retail for at launch?
I think the kit with the headset and the camera was around 400, but that was without controllers and all the other stuff that you need. It was just
So it was like
the headset and the camera.
Well,
so
Michelle,
like $399, something like that.
Michelle Dillon says it can't be $399. I agree, Michelle. I mean, I guess unless they're taking a loss, like somebody said earlier, to get an advantage, or maybe they're if they really do see Quest as a competitor, and then making it up on the other end with the software, because that's one thing that Sony has no problem charging full price for software, and it's worth it, right? The games. So
that's kind of the thing here. It just depends on how much ground they want to make up in the beginning. Like, you only get one chance to kind of set a first impression with people, and sure, they could launch an expensive headset and then cut the price later on as more PlayStation 5 owners buy into the ecosystem. But if you set that tone, then it's kind of hard to rebuild excitement for something. People are going to be excited about this when it drops. They could kill that with a price tag. So I feel like that PSVR 1 was kind of like their trial, their beta for VR, and that this time that they're all in, and I don't think they're going to blow it by overpricing the thing, even if it means taking a little bit of a loss on it. I think that they can see the VR the VR bubble growing all around them, and I don't think that they're going to want to exclude themselves from that. Even though I do think that they only really view Facebook as a competitor, in one sense. Like, sure, they're another VR company selling VR headsets to VR players, but Sony, this is a peripheral. This isn't a standalone headset. They're selling to their own gamers, like people who have a PlayStation 5 already. That's who they're targeting, not so much somebody over here that has a Quest and no PlayStation, right?
but they did catch Facebook in bed with their girlfriend, Resident Evil. You know what I mean?
That's true.
There's been some
That's
shots
true.
across the bow, and it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I want to see Sony kick Facebook's face in the dirt. No offense to Mash's Quest 2 group.
So do I. I don't got a problem.
That's true.
I don't got a problem.
Competition's
I
good.
think both can definitely both will thrive in the market. They're completely different things. You're talking about a standalone device to a tethered computer device, basically, with running on the PlayStation 5. So to me, I think they're both completely different. I think you're going to have your Quest audience, you're going to have your PlayStation VR2 audience, which is completely fine. Better, more VR is more VR. Who gives a shit who makes it? I don't
That's
care.
true. That's true.
Absolutely. I think with this next bullet point, it's a perfect example of what competition in this space means for consumers. And the next bullet point's about eye tracking. It says, with eye tracking, PSVR 2 detects the motion of your eyes, so a simple look in a specific direction can create an additional input for the game character. This allows players to interact more intuitively in new and lifelike ways, allowing for a heightened emotional response and enhanced expression that provides a new level in realism in gaming. Now, this is what I was talking with Brian about the other day. If a talented game developer knows exactly where you're looking because of eye tracking, then they know exactly where you're not looking. And the possibilities are endless in a video game world with what's happening where you're not looking, right?
Mm.
Because when you look again like that, especially with this, this next level data throughput system in the PlayStation 5 and how quickly it can load things, that is bound to be a profound experience once the Sony first party studios really use it to its potential.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. Even just not only by what they could show you wherever you're looking, but where you're not looking. Remember the Twilight Zone, that one episode back in the day where the guy is somehow trapped in between time and he like walks into rooms that haven't been created yet. Think about that as you're turning away from stuff's immediately being unrendered and the power is going somewhere else. And like, if they're good at it, they could juggle that back and forth no matter where you're looking and really optimize these games very well. It's super exciting.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! But remember what Dave Marsh said about how they worked on getting Shadowgate onto the Quest 2 platform, was by eating the rooms that you just left. So anytime you left a room, it completely unrendered that room to save on the power to put into what you're looking at in the next room. So I mean, these are more tools that they're going to have now to make these things, to come to life. Really.
It's funny you say that because that's
Absolutely.
exactly what I was thinking when I was hearing that is exactly that Dave Marsh experience for him talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, with the eye tracking and the obvious, focus that Sony's putting on this, I think this is kind of an effect of the competition in the space, right? Because we began to get rumors last year that Apple was going to have a headset this year that had eye tracking in it. It wasn't long after that we got rumors that Facebook was going to have a new headset next year that also had eye tracking. And now here's Sony coming out with their headset and obviously eye tracking. When these big companies start to compete in terms of features for next generation devices, I mean, while that can, of course, inflate the price, I think for all of us who are, enthusiasts about the tech, it's a win-win situation for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, let's get down to the harder spec lines a little bit further down the page. Again, we already talked about this. OLED panels, 2000 by 2040 per eye, so roughly on par with my my G2, which, by the way, guys, is friggin' crystal sharp. I mean, you're going to be impressed. And that is an LCD panel. It's not HDR OLED running at 120 hertz like this. This is a big step up in terms of panel quality over anything, over Valve Index, over anything that's on the market right now. This is a big step up from that. Not a modest step up, a big step up. And it really, I don't think people quite understand how significant the HDR OLED is going to be until they get it on their face. The field of I'm sorry, go ahead, Ruuts.
I was going to say not only that, but think about like on my PlayStation 5 when I used the 5-year-old headset, how amazing it is, how amazing that old technology looks, how they were able to squeeze I mean, it's so optimized. Think about this thing I just think on that level, it's going to be that much better, right? It just, it's going to be amazing. I think people are going to be blown away.
Still remains to be seen whether or not this is going to be Pentile OLED or RGB OLED like the last gen was. A lot of the reason why the PlayStation VR headset had such little screen door was because it was a RGB OLED. It was an AMOLED. We do not know whether or not this is going to be Pentile or RGB. But even if it is Pentile, I mean, with that high of a resolution, I wouldn't expect it to be a significant issue either way.
Yeah.
We do get confirmation here that the lenses are individual and adjustable with manual IPD adjustment. This is something that the original PlayStation VR did digitally. As we all know, a lot of people hate the digital IPD adjustment, and they're going to be happy to learn that we can confirm that this has adjustable lenses, so you're going to be able to physically move the lenses to line up with your eyes.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't mention diopters. It almost seems like every headset is going to diopters now. I even saw a couple of headsets yesterday on a company that was doing some new tracking, and they have an eye tracker basically that has diopters on it. So
Yeah, most of those diopter headsets are micro OLEDs, and I don't know if the tech is if that specific screen technology kind of lends itself better to the diopter lenses, or if it just so happens that that's the next thing after this next generation, that the next generation is going to be micro OLED and also is going to have these diopter lenses. But yeah, I'm not shocked that that's not on here. I mean, that a few next gen headsets are going to have it, but I kind of feel like that's the next gen. It'll be on PCVR headsets that come out in 2023. I think we'll have this diopter stuff on it. But it's not a big deal. I guarantee you that all of these amazing accessory companies out there, it won't be long after PSVR 2 launches that we'll have prescription lenses that'll fit comfortably into the thing. So people who wear glasses are going to get a comfortable experience.
Yeah.
Sensors again, 6-axis sensing system, 3-axis gyroscope, 3-axis accelerometer, IR proximity sensor. This is all stuff that was in the original PlayStation VR. What wasn't in the original was the 4 cameras for headset and controller tracking and IR per eye eye tracking. Vibration on the headset, and confirmed gaming science teacher that the communication with the PS5 will be done through a single USB Type-C cable. Roots, any concern here that they're going the USB Type-C route? Because I'm no, I'm a layman. I don't know exactly how this stuff works, but the only other headset that we've seen that's done something like this is the Quest through the Link, right? And the way Link achieves this is by video streaming. And of course, video streaming means compression. Video streaming means artifacts, according to some people. Do you think that that's the approach that Sony's taking with this, or do you think that they're taking a completely different approach, basically using the USB-C cable as a native video cable, as if it were a display port or an HDMI?
I would hope so. I'd hope the latter. I don't know, man. That is kind of weird. I never really thought about it. Really would not want them to go down the same route. Although, I mean, it's a very good, the Link cable. I like it. I just don't want the compression, right? But maybe they've done something that Meta's not been able to do. It is Sony. So
I do know that the USB-C port on the front of the PlayStation 5, they call it super speed. Now I don't know what that means in terms of specs, but apparently it's faster than your standard USB C port. So maybe they're able to achieve better results through better tech.
yeah, Absolutely.
I would be shocked if it's not done that way. I would be shocked if they were going to try and run it like with compression means where you're going to have to compress the signal. I mean, their whole idea of doing this cable is so they can get the best quality out of it. So I would be shocked if they tried to do it the other way. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it that way. I mean, what's the difference? If you're already running one cable, I mean, if they had to do it they would run two cables. So I think for sure they're going to run it the other. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And the reason why is because a lot of what makes the Oculus headset run so well as a PCVR headset is the having that Snapdragon chip to decode, right? That they have whenever you plug in your PC and go into link mode, basically that Snapdragon just becomes a decoder chip for the compressed video. So if Sony were to do something like that, it would have to have a chip on board, which obviously would um, in today's environment with the chip shortages and stuff would really be a big constraint on their ability to manufacture these. And I think the reason that we are getting this headset this year in this climate is because it's not standalone, because it doesn't need to have a chip in it. Uh, it's basically like selling television. It's basically like selling. It's an expensive television that's on your face with some Rumble features and some cameras and stuff. All stuff that Sony makes, by the way. Um, yeah, I agree. I don't think that there's really any kind of concern here. Even though will be the first time we've seen a headset use USB interface for anything other than video streaming, I do in fact believe that that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Audio, built-in input, built-in microphone just like the PlayStation VR 1. Also, stereo headphone jack like PlayStation VR 1. No built-in audio solution for PSVR again this generation. Eric, are you disappointed at all about that?
Yeah, I am for sure. I mean, nobody wants to have to mess with it, but I mean, here's the thing though. If you're going to take advantage of this Tempest audio, you got to have headphones, and you can't do it through a strap that's on the headset to get the most out of it. I kind of figured they weren't going to go that way anyway. Um, and here's the deal. I mean, if you want to try and keep this thing, we all want this thing affordable. We keep talking about all these specs that we're putting in it. You can't just keep putting shit and putting shit and putting shit and think it's going to be $300. This is not going to happen. So, I mean, so you're going to have to put a set of headphones on.
You should own the Pulse 3D headphones by now. If you already have your PlayStation 5, you should be looking right over there and seeing them because they are amazing.
They had them on display too. They had them on display with colored PlayStation 5s, by the way. There was
Oh,
about
wow.
10 different colors they had on display at the PS5 part of the booth. They had 7 or 8 different colored controllers.
Hmm.
They had 3 or 4 different colors of the Pulse headsets, and they had like 10 colors in the actual cases for the PS5.
Yeah. True.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool.
yeah, and while I'm sure this thing's going to have a pair of earbuds with it like the original did. Uh, if Sony were to go the integrated audio route, I don't think that they would ever in a million years do what Meta did by putting strap audio in it. If Sony were to do it, it would, they're trying to build a profound experience for the gamer, and they're not going to put half-ass audio on it. Like if they're adding audio to that headset, it's going to be Pulse 3D quality audio, which, as Eric said, very expensive to add on there. So I do think that this is a cost saving measure by keeping that off of there. It also, if they were to have audio on it, they'd be cutting their own legs out from under them. They want to sell those Pulse 3D headsets. And I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for them to do that. Maybe they do a VR variant that fits comfortably with the headset, or maybe they do branded earbuds. Regardless of that, I'm feeling pretty good about my VR ears purchase over here right about now, because honestly, my VR ears have stayed on my PlayStation VR since about a week after I got them in. And I think that they're great. And I think that they're going to be perfect for my PlayStation VR 2 when it arrives. And I'm going to have built-in off-ear speakers that sound quite good.
Yeah.
gaming science teacher. But if your PS5 is connected to your TV, can you just do ambient audio that way? You can, but speaking from experience with PlayStation VR 1, that's not necessarily what you want to do. But that is something that we do, like especially with my kids, if they're playing something scary and the game's a little too immersive for them, uh, they would just take the headphones off and listen to the audio through the television and be a little less immersed and able to stay in the game.
Yeah.
There's no delay with that. There's no like it's 1-to-1 in the headset. What you're seeing in the headset and the sound from the TV.
Should be.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I've never
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
it.
There's no lag. There's no lag with it. It's not like the Quest streaming where there's that audio delay of a second. It's
Yeah, it's
pretty
not a
much one
lot,
to one.
but it's enough to frig you up if you're, you know.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's no lag, but it's negligible. It's negligible, and I would imagine even less so with PlayStation 5. Everything's greasy fast with PlayStation 5.
Gaming science teacher says,
See.
"Oh no, make something in purple. My wallet may be in trouble." And D stirred the pot, saying, "Then don't go to their website." So repeat, do not go there. I'm sure she's already there. She's already buying all sorts of stuff that's purple. Who doesn't want to buy purple, right?
Hard to
hoping
get
they have
says
stuff
I'm
for sale there.
confident. Hard to get says I'm confident PSVR 2 will have built-in audio. The PSVR 1 Model 2 already got built-in earbuds. Well, I mean, it's an audio jack. It's a headphone jack. I just read the spec sheet right off of Sony's thing here. So, are you saying that on the Model 2 PSVR that like it's wired in, like the headphone, the earbuds are wired into the thing? I didn't know that.
I've never
You,
seen that.
yeah, I haven't either.
The earbuds in
Anyway,
my PlayStation 1, they're just jacked in. They're
Mm.
they're the ones that came with it that like fit right into the thing, but they're wired in. I mean, it's not wired in. It's you plug it into
Yeah,
a
it's
jack.
it's a head jack. It's a microphone
Yeah,
jack or headphone jack.
right.
yeah.
Yeah, and if you're saying that that's a built-in audio, then yeah, built-in audio confirmed.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, right. Hack says headphones are the way to go. Yeah. Now again, I'm happy with my my VR ears. With that said, I backed them as an early bird on the Kickstarter. They're a bit overpriced, but again, if you're somebody who's an enthusiast who don't care to spend a little bit more, and if Sony doesn't come out with their own version right away, I think that VR ears are a good plan to add audio to your headset so that you're not putting on headphones every time and that you have high quality audio, immersive every time that you play.
I would have to think that their headset's gonna be designed in a way that those Pulse ones will fit over perfectly. You know what I mean? Because like you said, that it's not like they're flying off the shelf to begin with.
Right. But there's something to be said for the Pulse. You have the Pulse, right, Roos?
Yeah, they're really good.
And you absolutely love them. And you could pretty much have anything you probably, I mean, you have good gear that we use for other things. You could have used any headphones you wanted to, and you went out and perfectly bought the Pulse because you wanted the best you could get with the Tempest audio. So
Right.
there's something to be said for what you're getting from Sony. With what they're going to give you with this Pulse headset.
I was just thinking of Radio Runt but I didn't say it. But he said he's not a fan of the VR ears. But I guess maybe it depends on which thing you're using them on, which headset, and which. Well, Wes just said they were overpriced. Oh yeah, they're way overpriced if you didn't get the Kickstarter.
They're overpriced and they're a pain in the ass to change out. Like you can't just easily swap them from headset to headset. That's part of the reason why they've stayed on my PlayStation VR. In terms of audio quality, I mean, I think they're pretty good. I mean, they're on par with my G2, maybe a little bit better, and I'm happy with that. So
Yeah.
I've never tried the Valve Index audio, but I like my VR ears. They're my favorite. It's better than headphones. It's better than my best headphones. So,
Yeah, I mean, Valve Index is superior, but the fucking thing's $1,000. Again, what are we talking about here? Everybody wants this thing for $299. We're not getting the Valve fucking Index headphones. This is not going to happen, man.
Yeah, somebody did
And
say two
and
ninety
Techno
nine.
Glitch is like, that sucks. I'd rather have onboard. Yeah, it does suck, but dude, I would give me. I'll figure my own sound out. Make it $350.
This
You know
this
what I
is
mean?
this is the thing. The same person that's gonna say that sucks. I want them built in is gonna be saying $700. That sucks. I'm not
I'm not
buying that.
buying it. Yeah, right.
So what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you going to do, eh? Anyway, looking down the spec sheet for the PSVR 2 Sense controllers, not a whole lot new here. Obviously, they're going to charge up via USB-C, just like the DualSense. Bluetooth 5.1 connection to the PS5, built-in lithium-ion rechargeable battery. Obviously, adaptive triggers, just like the DualSense. Haptic feedback, HD haptics, just like the DualSense. This is very exciting. We can confirm now that the capacitive touch on it isn't just a basic capacitive touch like we see on touch controllers, but they do also use finger touch detection IR LEDs for position tracking. So you're going to have individual finger position tracking with these controllers, much like you get with Valve Index.
Can I flip my middle finger?
You certainly can.
Finally.
You can crush
Yes, you can.
cans in Half-Life Alex.
Yeah, I can. What do you think Half-Life
What's
Alex
that?
will come to?
Half-Life Alex PlayStation launch day, right? Is that what Wes just said?
That'd be cool.
Anyway, that's all the specs we got. It's all it's all stuff that's been leaked mostly by our friends over there at Without Parole. So kudos to them for getting that months and months ahead of time. But again, it really wasn't so much what they said, it was how they said it and who said it. Jim Ryan on a big stage, basically just showing up in Vegas to unveil PlayStation VR 2 to the world, saying to the larger tech space that we believe in VR. We think VR's time is now, and we're getting behind it. And by the way, here's one of our biggest AAA IPs to show you how serious we are about it. And with that, I'd like to move on to Horizon Call of the Mountain, which was unveiled for the first time from Guerrilla Games in collaboration with Firesprite. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, Firesprite, the developer of The Persistence, which was an amazing game on PlayStation VR forever, and now is also on PC as well. Guys, we didn't see much from this trailer here. It's a 2-minute clip. About 30 seconds of that is in-game footage, which I can confirm was captured on a PlayStation 5, even though it is early development footage and it could change. The big takeaway I had from it was just the scale. Did you guys see the size of that enemy? Well, I assume it's an enemy in that game. I can see it now in this new headset with the vibration, with the HDR OLEDs. I mean, that's going to literally take your breath when you get in the presence of that thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it's not a rail shooter. No, I'm just saying that in jest because somebody said that in the comments earlier. They said, oh man, this is, why not the original? Like, why are they not putting out, the actual game that's coming in February? Why is this a separate game? And their immediate first thought is it could be a rail shooter. And this is what I was talking about in the 2021 show, the PTSD that we've all had from the Wolfenstein games and stuff like that. And I guarantee that's not what this is going to be, right? Like I
no way.
No.
Well, I mean, you think about Horizon, and how the gameplay is in that game. It's not just a shooter game. There's a lot more of climbing and stuff involved in the action sequences in that game. There's no way they would relegate that world to being a rail shooter. And people like to point at Rush of Blood. Rush of Blood was a game that was built around move controllers, which, by the way, guys, don't have thumbsticks on them in case you didn't hear.
that's true.
Rush of Blood was kind of the perfect game for the tech at that time. But we're talking about legit next generation tech. I don't think Sony would commit one of their biggest IPs to to being, to having an installment under this tech without fully utilizing it. We've seen before what Sony does with their IPs, especially with their launch titles. It's a showcase. Like Sony uses their first party studios to show the rest of the gaming world, all the developers and all the studios out there, what they can also do if they do it right. And I think that this is going to be a prime example of that. I think that this game is going to be a showcase for what this hardware is capable of, and I cannot wait to jump in this world.
Do you think that when we get in there and we're playing, it's going to make us think of, what was that one? I'm already forgetting. What was that one huge game? Just the best game of VR before we started getting AAAs in there, and Half-Life Alyx. I can't think of what it is anymore. Where you had the shark.
Wrath?
Yeah, Asgard's Wrath. You think it's going to make Asgard's Wrath look like, because I mean, just a couple years ago, we were this is the best of the best. And then we get into this and we're like, ew, that, wow, we've came a long way in just a couple years, right?
Well, when I look at this game, and it is a short clip, it oozes PS5 to me. And for those of you who out there who don't have a PS5, you don't really know what I'm talking about. But you guys know what I mean, right? When you play something on your PS5 and it's a Sony first party title, it has a certain feel about it, doesn't it? Like the PS5 exclusives, that they have a certain feel to them, like you're playing something new, something better. And when I look at this clip, I get that feeling like I get when I'm playing my PS5. And hopefully more and more people will be able to get a console this year, and I think they will. And we'll talk about that next. But yeah, I don't think Asgard's Wrath is still top of the line impressive in terms of today's technology. I think this is going to be next level.
Yeah. Well, I think the gameplay is where we're going to see that for sure. Because like Radio Run says, Asgard's Wrath is still pretty good. It is pretty good. But then if you think about the actual gameplay going from this point to that point, and with the exceptions of the different abilities you get from the different characters, there's not much variation. You know what I mean? And like the gameplay loop and the depth of the gameplay loop, I guarantee, is what's going to blow us away. Aside from just how amazing the scope of everything looks and the graphics. But, that's what the AAA is. They're going to bring with the AAA, of it.
Chi-Town D says, I'm hoping tomorrow is the day I can grab a PS5. D, I don't know if D-Rail has clued you in on some of the things you can do technically on your computer to greatly increase your chances with that and decrease the effort that you have to put into it. But if I were you, I would talk to him a little bit about that. There are things you can do rather than sitting there with your mouse and keyboard and refreshing the page, hoping that you hit it just right. There are things that you can do, and that guy's got it down to a science. So I'd hit him up and ask him about it. I know he's mentioned it before. Maybe just go to the hardware channel and scroll up a few weeks. He left some tips for you guys to achieve success in that realm, and it's good advice. It worked for me, worked for him, not only with PlayStations but with graphics cards. D-Rail and I got into it kind of at the same time, this whole chase for new tech. And when I got mine, I quit, and he just kept going. So he's refined it even a little bit more since I got out of it, the process. But it works, and it's definitely worth your time if you really want to get a PS5.
Maybe I can lift one from the display tomorrow on the show floor.
I think you should try it. Then you can at least
I'll grab a purple one for you right off
make
the
the news.
And maybe if you get up there early enough, they'll hand out some of those new colored dual senses in a goodie bag or something.
That'd be cool.
It's all about the swag.
Well, he's not going to be there tomorrow. He's going to be at Disney.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's true. I'll be back Thursday, Friday. I'll be at the show.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this report. We had an idea that there might be some news today because we got a fairly reputable or what's the word I'm looking for here? We got a viable rumor yesterday from a known leaker, or not known leaker, but a known tech analyst from Asia, and basically, I mean, it really wasn't a leak at all. It was a report on the financials of a company called Goer Tech, a Chinese electronics manufacturing company that creates all sorts of different things. They create components. They create chips now. They're a growing company. They're growing quickly. They do high quality work, and they also happen to be the company who makes most of the Oculus Quest 2s. We've come to find out over the last year for Facebook. They're the reason why Facebook's been able to meet demand in 2021 the way that other companies haven't been able to. Well, anyway, as you read through this report, it notes that the outlook for 2022 is good for this company. Not only are they going to up their production of Quest 2, they're going to begin work on the next generation of Oculus Quest. That's what this report says. But the most notable thing that everyone seems to be freaking out about is it notes that a notable Japanese console maker will be placing an order with them, not only to help increase the supplies of consoles in the marketplace, but also to begin manufacturing full-scale production manufacturing of the VR headset that goes with their console. Next gen VR headset specifically is what it said. So everyone put two and two together. I mean, there's an outside shot that that could be Nintendo Switch VR, but everyone knows what they're talking about. That's going to be PlayStation VR 2 and PlayStation 5s. And that's great. That means this thing's getting ready to go into production soon. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what soon means. And I thought I'd lend a little insight here because people were speculating 2-3 months just because that's what their definition of soon would be, and for no other reason than that. The article lists, the article states that they expect that this new next gen VR headset will produce 1 to 2 million units within the first year, 2022. What people are failing to realize with this is these business reports don't operate in terms of the calendar year. We're talking about fiscal year 22, and fiscal year 22 starts in April. So all of you out there who are kind of speculating when this stuff might start to take off, it's going to start to take off in April because that's when the money that's budgeted for this is going to be released to this company, and that's when they're going to get going. I'm sure they're doing preliminary work on it right now. They probably have a line built up as a proof of concept showing that they can build these things, that it will be high quality, to show Sony that it's okay to greenlight it. But as far as full scale production, that's going to happen in April because that's when the money is going to be allotted to it due to the fiscal year switching over in April. So first of all, there's that. Second of all, the other thing I wanted to point out about this article, everyone focusing on the outlook for 2022. And what they're focusing on is this line that says that they aim to help this Japanese console maker to increase their supply in fiscal year 22. So people are wondering, how much resources is that going to take? How long is it going to take them to get the console line set up in their factories to start producing these consoles, PlayStation 5s? Well, they already have. And I know they already have because I read the first part of the article. And the first part of the article states that they've been doing this for a year already. They've already been making PlayStation 5s there for a year. And due to the success they've had with it, due to the high quality ratings and good customer approval ratings that they've got from their first year, now Sony's expanding it even further, and they plan to do so even more in 2023. So those of you wondering how long it's going to take them to set up the console lines, they're already there. They're just upping production of that next year, which is good news for those of us who are anxious to get our hands on the VR headset, which means because it means that the only thing that new that they're really building right now are the VR lines. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because it's a long report, and all of the news that I've seen on it and all the analysis has been on this one little section of it. But if you read the whole thing, there's a lot more in there that gives you a much clearer picture of what's going on.
Yeah, and it gives you hope for the PlayStation 5 being more readily available too, because if they're doing all this, that means they know that they're going to have a huge, increase in the amount of PlayStation 5s that are going to be introduced into the market, and that's another reason why they're getting ready to launch this. There's no way they were ever going to launch a peripheral for a device that only a quarter of the people that they want to have them have them. So they're going to go hand in hand, and they're going to ramp up everything.
Yeah, 1,000%. And it kind of lines up, right? They start production in April, and that gives them 6 months before launch. And a company like this, a big growing tech company that's cranking out consoles already, and millions of Quest 2s last year they made. I mean, if they're aiming to get 1 to 2 million out in fiscal 22, then I mean that points right to what we've kind of been saying. October launch. I'm off base routes.
No, I think we're October launch. Somebody was just saying what this is the 6th anniversary, right? The 6th year for VR.
It will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. Yeah, for PSVR, 6th anniversary takes place in October. That's correct.
So a lot of things are lining up. I mean that's my hope is that we'll get it in October. But I mean, I don't know. It's exciting no matter how you look at it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's what we got in the realm of PlayStation VR 2. Eric, I can only imagine how excited you are to get out there on the floor over the next few days and see what kind of tech the world has to offer up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you guys, leading into Sony, which has completely dominated every thought in my head since that press conference. The last 2 days, I can tell you everything I'm taking away from is, I would say 90% of the companies I've seen or talked to have one word that they all talk about: metaverse. Every company that you can think of, from Hyundai to Bosch to Canon to John Deere. We're talking about metaverse and how their company is going to expand their reach and their market into the metaverse. So metaverse is not a Facebook or Meta thing. Metaverse is overreaching. Metaverse is going to touch everything. And I heard some older media gentlemen talking on the bus ride today, and they're like, "What do you think of this metaverse thing? This is not going to happen. This is not real." Guys, what did you not hear all day today? Every press conference we went to, they let off with metaverse. I have all the screenshots. I'm going to show everybody. Every screenshot from all these press conferences say metaverse right on the damn screen. So that's one of the biggest things I take away from the show, other than everything that's dominating, my thoughts after the Sony press conference.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, right? The market has spoken. This is happening. The metaverse is being built right now. Everyone's following Facebook's lead. When they see, you know, Zuckerberg pretty much bet the entire future of his company on building this right now, all of a sudden everyone's excited again. And then you see the apparent success of the Quest 2 in terms of permeating the mainstream marketplace, not only in gaming but just people in general. Everybody wants VR right now, and we stand to benefit from it as enthusiasts and gamers. But it's much bigger than our little bubble.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine being somebody without a PlayStation 5 or got to get my head straight over this PlayStation VR 2? When it's all I mean, this is the thing. I think you're going to be missing out. Like, you don't want to miss out on this. I think this is going to be next level to the nth degree.
I agree. Technoglitch says, I think Quest 3 is coming in October. I don't, but I wouldn't be shocked. Like, we've seen before that Facebook can be pushed into progressing faster than they had originally planned. I don't think that they plan to evolve so quickly this time around as they did last time. But if PlayStation picks up a lot of traction and a lot of hype, and Apple picks up a lot of attraction and a lot of hype, then yeah, they could accelerate their plans certainly.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see something. You're going to see a headset, maybe two,
Oh, for
but it's
sure,
not. It's
for
not going to be a
sure.
Quest 3. It's going to be a Pro, a Quest 2 Pro, and then you might see the Cambria. But I don't. I think they're going to be very wary about calling anything a Quest 3 right now. They want to get the 3 away from everybody's head. And if you can call something a Pro, and everybody can still keep their Quest 2s if they want to keep them, but if you want to go to the Pro, they have something to sell. Because I think they're worried about this. You can't come up with a headset every year, a new headset every year, and that backlash. What did we talk about with Brian Paul last week in that interview we did? Sony would never be able to do something that Facebook did, which is basically cut tethers from a Quest 1 to go to the Quest 2. I don't think they're. I think Meta will be, or Facebook will be, a little bit afraid of that. So I don't think we'll see a Quest 3 this year. But I do think we'll see probably a Pro and maybe the Cambria.
Mr. Lord Beavis in the chat says, Sony builds the hype train. Will you be able to use this with your PC? That is the question. Because even with the lower power, you can still play PC VR games on the Quest and the Quest 2. I think it's a possibility. And when I say I think it's a possibility, I think it's a certainty that you're going to be able to. The question is it going to be officially supported on the PC? I don't think so at launch. I think that, this is using a USB interface. They're going to crack this thing one way or the other. Like, people are going to be playing PCVR on this PlayStation headset, whether it's able to make use of all the features, the eye tracking, and all of that. The rumble. That might take a little bit more work, but you're going to be able to use it as a standard PCVR headset for sure at some point. Now the question is, does Sony officially support PC gaming? Well, we've seen them kind of. They always took a hardline stance against this for years, but over the last year to 2 years, we've seen them kind of soften their stance with regards to PC gaming. So I would never say never. I think that if Microsoft continues to see success with their PC Game Pass, and more people own capable PCs, I think maybe 3 years down the line, maybe 4 years down the line, that Sony launches a PlayStation PC platform that supports their VR headset and all of their peripherals and all of their games. The console model isn't going to last forever. With the advent of cloud gaming and all the new technology that's coming out, there's a finite time period that we're still going to be buying boxes to game on. And I think Sony understands this. So we are going to start to see them pivot away from their traditional models over the next few years. Whether or not that means this specific headset supports PC gaming or not officially, I don't know. But it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, especially like if they just make it compatible with running PC games and not the Sony exclusives. Like if they let it run in PCVR mode to run PCVR games on like the Epic platform, which they have a deep agreement with already, that wouldn't shock me at all, and it would be another reason for people to buy their headset, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sony has a PC division. I mean, a lot of people know that, but Sony already has a PC division. They're already looking into these things. And it's very possible that if you're not going to make $1 million on a headsets, how do you take care of some of that cost? This is just quantity. And if you can tap into a whole nother market that doesn't have to do with your console, why wouldn't you try and do it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of money to be made on PC for Sony, just selling their 2-year-old exclusives on PC, and expanding that to like VR. Like imagine if we got PC versions of all the great PSVR 1 games next gen, while PSVR 2 is doing its thing with all the new titles. They're throwing the last gen PSVR games on PC with new upgraded versions, and because a lot of that stuff's going to be remade for motion controllers anyway. for the PS5. So why not do a PC version that you can play on PC? It makes nothing but sense
How
in dollars.
how cool is it that PC will get the scraps of PlayStation VR's first generation?
I'd
That's
love
awesome.
it. I'd love it. I'd buy it all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And PC gamers would too. Tell me there's not PC gamers out there now that wouldn't want some of these PlayStation exclusives on their PC.
Rush of
Not
Blood.
be able to play 'em. Hell yeah.
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 Farpoint. Whatever.
Yeah.
Farpoint, yeah,
Yeah.
Farpoint PC. Imagine that.
Oh my god. And in the chat, everybody's kind of discussing, Cambria 3 is the Quest 3 or Cambria is the Quest 3. Guys, I'm telling you right now, they're not getting rid of the Quest name. The Cambria will be a completely different line. If you're going
It's
to
gonna be
see
expensive.
yeah, it is. And if you're going to see a Quest 3, it's going to be called Quest 3. Trust me, the Quest now that Oculus is pretty much gone as a name, they are not going to get rid of this Quest name. They're putting everything in their basket behind the Quest name now. That is the name that is going to be synonymous with their standalone headset. So if we see a headset this year, it will be a Quest Pro or a Quest Plus or whatever you want to call it, but a Quest 2 Plus. But it's going to have the Quest name. And if a Cambria does come, it probably won't be called the Cambria. That's a project name,
Hmm.
but it'll be called something else. It's not going to be called a Quest. This is going to be a completely different line than what the Quest line will be.
I agree. Well, they've already said that this is kind of the Cambria line is kind of it's something for enthusiasts on the consumer end, but on their end, it's a test bed for the tech that will be in the Quest 3. I think the Quest 3 is going to look a lot like the Cambria. I just don't think the Cambria is going to be the Quest 3. This is going to be a more expensive thing, $600, $800 for them to kind of establish a platform that has these next gen features on it so that they can work it out. And by the time it makes it into the Quest, like with Quest 2, a lot of these the features that we love about it, we've kind of been the beta testers for. I don't think they're going to want to do that next gen. I think they're going to want to provide more of a console-like experience with the next version of Quest, which means all the features and stuff are going to be ironed out when it launches. And the way they're going to achieve that is with Cambria and having that experience to build on.
Right, and that's how you keep your costs down too. By the way, you put out a headset that's expensive that people will buy and use that as the test headset. You figure out what works and what doesn't work and how to make it cheaply, and that's how you keep your Quest line at an affordable price with all the other features that you want out of the better headsets.
100%. Agree. Uh, Anyway, guys, I know it's been about 5 minutes since we wrapped up the 2021 show. Have either of you guys, since we got off the hook from having to prep for that thing, we've had, well, at least I've had a little bit more time in the game. I know, Eric, you've been traveling and on the road the whole time. Roots, have you had a chance to play anything this last few days?
No, I haven't even gone into a flat game for the last since Eric left. I've just been kind of doing some other stuff. Man, there's a lot of things I've neglected over the last month.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't help myself. We've said it. We've been selling it for 2 months now. January is mod month on our channel. We're focusing highly this month on the PCVR mods that we really didn't have time to cover in the second half of 2021 due to the intense schedule of new releases, official VR releases. But on New Year's Day, when they launched the mods to that brought Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 into VR, I just couldn't help myself. I went and bought both of those titles, and obviously I want to take them in chronological order. I dove headfirst into Resident Evil 2, and that's what I've been playing exclusively since we went off the air the other day. By the way, 14 hours, guys, 14-hour live stream. I know it shows it as 12, but that's only because we broke YouTube. Like YouTube will only archive your live streams up to 12 hours, which means the last 2 hours of the show aren't even there anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm crying on the inside.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, like the game of the year, all the big awards all got cut off. We are going to remedy that situation, though, guys. We're going to go on the air, I think, Saturday, and kind of recap the part of the show that got cut off. You know, the awards part anyway. I don't think we're going to. Who knows? We might give away a few games too while we're at it. But so if you haven't already, be sure you're subscribed. Be sure to hit the bell. We're going to go live on Saturday and redo the last 2 hours of the 2021 show. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that.
Are we gonna have the room VR? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, dude. I was wondering if we were gonna have the one as well. Spry Guy wants to know if the last 2 hours are lost forever, and I said forever. It's gone. Done. If you weren't there live, you missed it, bro. You'll never get it back, but we are going to recap it, and the recap's going to be better because we're better. Past Roots, Wes, and Eric sucked. They did okay, but we're going to do better.
Dude, I passed out.
Did you guys see where it cut off? He did pass out. Did you see where it cut off? I didn't even know.
I did. I have not. I did not. I did upload all. I had to break it into 4 parts to upload it to Anchor. So
it cut off. It cut off right before I rejoined you guys. So as far as everyone knows, I just went MIA for the rest of the night.
Wes did come back. I promise.
That's why the show ended, because Eric and I were like, "Well, fuck it, man. I guess if Wes isn't going to be here, we're done." We just rage quit the stream.
No, it's just Brian Paul's so boring, man. He put me to sleep. Well, no. Now, while we were waiting to come back from the Brian Paul segment, I fell asleep right here in my chair and missed about 20 minutes of the stream after they came back from the break. But you guys did admirably. Like, I was so proud. You guys really held it together and
that's good.
Saved me from ruining everything.
We freaked out just a little bit. I'm like 5 minutes out of coming back from break. I'm like, Roots, Wes isn't back yet. He's like, no, don't worry about it. He came back like a minute before the last break, and he was here. It's all right. We got like 30 seconds.
We're watching the time tick down. I said, well, I guess he's not coming back. Guess we're rolling with it, bro.
And then I'm looking at the category of the next category. I'm Roots. I can't decipher what the hell this next category is because it didn't have a description. It just had a name of the category. And I'm trying to remember in my head. I'm like, what the hell was that category?
That's funny. It was fun.
We got through it. We got through it.
You did it.
We did it.
We did it.
Yeah.
Anyway, since then I've got some sleep and I'm in a much better state these days. I've even found time to do a little VR gaming in Resident Evil 2. I've only played it twice, guys. Only twice. And I've got over 5 hours in the game already.
Ellis, that's awesome.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect, dude. I won't say it's perfect. It's not perfect. But it's real close. It's better than 95% of the VR games. I mean, it's a AAA game in VR, fully playable, in first person with motion controls. And that's what really blows my mind the most about this. This is a third person PC flat game that plays in first person with motion controls. Like, what? 2 dudes did this.
Wow.
It's incredible.
It's just, I think it was Brian Paul that was saying that, and I agree. It's like, it's really making these developers look stupid. Every time this happens, it's like, really? 1 guy, 2 guys did this, and you guys have been saying for years, oh, we can't do it. No, you didn't want to do it. Well, now you're going to do it because we're going to force you to do it. So
yeah, PC mod month, January. I don't know if I'll play anything other than Resident Evil. Like, I'm having such a blast in this game. It's so much better than RE4. It's so much better than RE4. And it's Leon. You're still Leon. So it's pretty cool.
Well, and this is the thing, right? I mean, we have a lot of other games to play. See, if it's, I don't know if there's much jank to it or not, but I guess we'll find out when we go into it. But I see myself going into a lot of these experiences and trying them for a little bit and then moving on to the next one until they get any jank ironed out, right? But we'll see.
The janks in the cutscenes.
Is it?
Like that's where the jank is, and it's not like terrible, and there's not a lot of cutscenes, so it's not really anything that's all that bad. But I mean, that's where the majority of the jank that I've encountered is. The control scheme is unconventional. It takes a little bit. Well, I mean, it won't take you because I can just tell you what to do, but it took me a few minutes to figure it out how to play it. Because it just does still kind of play like Resident Evil, right? So you have to press a button to aim before you can shoot. You don't just point and shoot. You have to aim and you have to use 2 buttons. You have to squeeze the grip before you squeeze the trigger, which takes you about 5 seconds to get used to. Same thing with the knife. If you want to arm the knife, you have to squeeze the left grip to arm the knife, and now you've got your knife. So there's still some lingering aspects of gamepad controls in it, but I mean, as far as like the game visually and how it runs, I mean, it runs great and it looks great and it plays wonderfully. And I'm going to play through this and I'm going to move right into 3. And guess what, guys? There's mods out there for 7 and 8 already too. They're not complete, but they are available. You can play them in their state right now. And GT and PD both said that RE7 on PC right now is better than RE7 on PlayStation.
Hmm.
I'm
That'd be
going to go into
interesting.
8. That's my question.
Yeah.
You said I'm not going into 8 until it comes out on the PlayStation VR 2.
I said I'm not going into 8 until I can play it in VR is what I said. Until I can play it in VR. Now I probably won't try this early version of it because apparently it's not perfect. But when the Resident Evil Village full mod comes out, if it comes out before the PlayStation version, then I'll be playing it because I'm so impressed with this RE2 mod that I know it's going to be like native VR almost. So I'm perfectly happy to experience it through the wizardry of the PC modding community.
Tech says he's having a better time using a D-pad for it. I say,
You are
Tech,
a D-pad. No,
Tech, I say.
How dare you?
And
Come on, man.
come on, man. What are you doing, bro?
Well, that was my first impression was because at first it starts in third person and you can play it fully in third person and it's great. And I played it for a few minutes before I realized, oh, wait a minute, I don't have to play it in third person. I could do this in first person. And you have to take the headset off and go onto the computer screen to click a checkbox. But after you do that, you put the headset on, it automatically adjusts the height of the character and centers it so that when you put your headset on, everything's perfect. And then yeah, that's it. If you don't feel like it's perfect, there are options that you can do high offsets and certain things for your point of view to make it perfect. But I haven't had to do any of that. The only thing that I've done, and get this, like there's a README on the GitHub page where you download the mod, and there's a section of it that shows you what your graphics settings are supposed to be. Like the mod tries to force your graphics settings to be a certain set, like a different settings, and it tells you, if you're having trouble with it, then check to make sure all of these graphic settings are set correctly. Well, I didn't have any trouble out of it. The first time I played it, I just played it and didn't think anything about it. When I was playing it this morning, I decided, you know what, for shits and giggles, I'm just going to look and see what the graphic settings are. And when I got going through there, like it didn't force anything. Like it was all just default settings. And I went through there and set it to what it was supposed to be, and it got even better. And I was like, wow. And beyond the Prey Dog recommended settings, I turned the graphics detail up, and he says to turn off the volumetric lighting. I like it better with it on. Like I leave my volumetric lighting on. It makes a pretty big difference. But no, man, it's a beautiful game with dynamic shadows and lighting, and I don't know. It's just so fun. I wasn't a big fan of RE2 to begin with, but this is like a whole new game, bro. It's like a whole new game.
Yeah. I'm okay with third person. How would you prefer to play it? I mean, first
I
person
mean,
or do you,
I prefer it for first person, but I have a 3080. It certainly runs smoother in third person. Like if you're having challenge getting it to run smooth, you might try it in third person with a gamepad.
I, I'm completely like Roots. I don't have a problem playing any VR game in third person. It doesn't bother me at all. So, I mean, I actually prefer some games that way. I mean, Edge of Darkness is probably or Edge of Nowhere was one of my favorite games, and that's all third person. I love that game.
Amazing.
Yeah, in first person, you get in certain scenes you'll get a glimpse of reprojection. It's very slight, but it is noticeable. None of that in third person mode. It's just smooth.
Yeah. Cool. Well, exciting times, man. I can't wait to get in there.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I think I say this is all I'm going to play, in January. But truth be told, I've already installed Horizon Zero Dawn, so I'll probably give that one a look next, just because it's already there. I might as well, right?
Yeah, it's super cool too. Cool game.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back and try these things, man.
You're gonna be
Plus, I
checking
mean,
out CES, bro. Tell me.
Plus, I mean, in a year we're going to be playing an official Horizon VR game, and I want to be up to date on the lore and the story. And I mean, that means going back and playing Horizon because I've never played it. And if I'm going back to play it, why wouldn't I go play it in VR? Like, duh, it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I'm just still pissed. I'm still a little salty that they made me an outcast and they wouldn't let me put the berries in the basket. I don't know why I'm stuck on that moment, but man, that lady was a bitch, and I'll just say it. I don't like her. So.
Me neither.
Decepticon says I have a 1660 6 gig and it runs really well. Now that is incredible because I mean a lot of VR games won't run on that. You know what I mean? Not well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Diz the Game Cat, I've got to try Hellblade still. Diz, it's one of my favorite VR games. It's one of my favorite VR games. It is such an incredible experience. The way that they capture schizophrenia in that game and immerse you in that kind of mindset is it's amazing. And I highly recommend it. Like, you should go buy that right now and play it. It's one of the best games in VR.
I hope Senua's Saga is VR, man. I hope.
I love how Leon is telling that zombie, like, hey, get off of him. What are you doing? He's like chewing into his neck and shit. Like, oh, dude. Like, that's know what I mean? You missed your moment to stop it from happening, bro. Like, it's not stopped. It's not stopping.
Dude, this feels like a classic zombie movie, this game. These zombies do not stay dead. Like, you'll kill them for a minute, and then they'll get up again as you're getting ready to walk back by them. And typically, you have to kill them 3 times before they stay down.
It's crazy.
Which obviously makes ammo scarce, as any great Resident Evil game. It's the same thing in every Resident Evil game. You got to be careful with your ammo. The good thing about it is being able to aim down sights. It allows you to not miss so much.
You're wrong, Wes. Every game except for RE4. RE4 gave you as much ammo as you need.
It's true.
That's good, true. Bro.
It's kind of the same deal. When you put RE4 in the VR, it made it a lot easier to fight, and then therefore, obviously, you got a lot more ammo. It's kind of the same deal here. Being able to aim down the sights, you don't miss a lot, or I don't miss a lot anyway. It's just so cool to be able to play a game. I mean, besides RE4, this is the first full-fledged Resident Evil experience at full fidelity in VR, and it's every bit of what you would think it would be. It's great.
Yeah, looks amazing. Can't wait to get in there.
Epic Store had Hitman 3 for $14. It says $23 for me. $10 off coupon is how I got mine.
Yeah,
I think it was $15 I got mine for after the $10 coupon.
We're I mean, it's right around the corner, bro. Pick it up. You'll be playing it soon.
So, yeah, a couple weeks.
Yeah. I went ahead and picked mine up.
And there'll be no jank because it'll be an actual VR patch, which is amazing.
Yeah. We call it Mob Month, but we've got Horizon coming this month. we've got Wanderer coming this month. We've got the Shore VR. We got a release date for the Shore VR, and it's tomorrow. And I've already spoken with the PR team over there. We will have a copy of that.
Nice.
Probably tomorrow. So yeah, there's plenty of native releases for us to look at this month as well. Good stuff.
Nice. Exciting.
Absolutely. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap up our episode. I want to thank all of you in the chat who decided to come and hang out for this impromptu episode of Strangers in the Night. We, well, I say we had no idea that we were going to come on. Roots kind of had no idea that we were going to come on. Eric and I kind of talked about it last night, like, let's be ready just in case something happens. And something fairly big happened. And we kind of got Roots in on it at the last minute, like, dude, can you go live?
I'm
Well,
always
sure.
available.
You know,
Sorry, man.
I'm
Yeah.
always available.
Yeah, you know who else is always available?
My mom.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of great content coming up this week. I'm going to try to stream. I don't know if it'll be tonight or tomorrow night. I'm going to try to stream once this week. It'll be RE2 if I can make it. If I can capture it smoothly, that'll be what I'll be playing. Obviously, Saturday we're going to recap the last 2 hours of the 2021 show that got cut off. Probably have a few keys to give away as well. So tell your friends. And
Room VR.
yeah. Room VR. You're gonna have the Room VR confirmed. Room VR.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, lots of great stuff coming up. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so that you don't miss out on any of it. 2022 is just now getting kicked off, and it is getting kicked off in a big way. I mean, can you think of a better first week for us, guys? I mean, it's been awesome, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been awesome. We get to re-experience part of the 2021 show again. That's awesome, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, deja vu. I barely remember it anyway, so it'd be nice to kind of go back over it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
I was so out of it when I woke up. I didn't know if I had finished the show or not. I was like, did we finish it?
Well, we were talking.
Then,
We were talking after the show. The three of us got done. It went off air. We usually talk a little bit just to recap what happened and say goodbye to each other. Literally in conversation, Wes fell asleep. And we looked up at him on the video, and his eyes were completely. He was shut. He was done.
That's
I hadn't
funny.
been to bed in 3 days, dude. Like
That's
I
crazy.
literally marathon prep for the 2021 show. I let After the Fall derail my first week of December, and it put me behind for the entire rest of the month. Like all I did was prep for 2021 show. Last 2 weeks leading up into it.
Yeah.
It'll do that to you.
Anyway, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. More to come as we proceed through the year of VR.
Yep.
And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For my friends Eric and Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you very, very soon. Bye.
Take it easy.
See you later.